Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Doink the Clown.
I can hear the reindeer on the roof. It's that time of year.
Is that what that
again.
is? Is that what that is up there?
Either that or we're going to need a repairman pretty soon.
Oh, I thought it was big mice. No? Reindeer? Okay.
Well, we've got a rat
Dan?
problem here in Melrose.
You
and
do?
I mean rodents, not the rings. But anyway, wrestling fans of brand
that's a whole other story.
Our brand new Wrestling Insiders is up next. Stand by. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, get ready for the 2021 Paul Bearer Holiday Headlock Cyber Toy Drive. If you couldn't be with the superstars at our 20th anniversary event, have no fear. We're putting together a winner-take-all mega jackpot for one lucky fan that we will be drawing live on our Christmas special Sunday night, December the 19th, with John Cena Sr. For as little as a $5 raffle ticket, win thousands of dollars worth of prizes in our annual efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's home this Christmas. For raffle tickets and complete information, head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to Wrestling Insiders. A lot of brand new faces joining us throughout the month of November and December as we get closer and closer and closer to the big day. It's the one C word we can use on this show. Hopefully I'm not going to offend you by saying the word Christmas.
No, not at all. I love Christmas. Clowns love Christmas.
It's an offensive word to some. I don't know why, but...
Why? It's Santa Claus and reindeer, and everybody's happy, and they're eating and drinking and laughing, and everybody gets together. There's nothing bad with that.
I don't see it that way.
Okay.
But, you know, the world is a lot of clowns out there, no pun intended. But anyway, you know, it's funny. We sent a little holiday greeting out to our dear friend in Stamford, Connecticut, down at Titan Towers before we started this show. And I don't know if you were aware of this, but for the longest time, they had your photo up with Sweetness, Walter Payton.
Oh, yeah.
In the obituary section for Matt Bourne. And I told her, I don't know how many times, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, well...
They finally removed it, which made me happy, but I thought it was a little, I don't know.
Well, that was one of the highlights of being backstage, getting to meet guys like Walter Payton, you know, and Scottie Pippen, and, you know, Reggie White. And I got to meet some guys that I probably wouldn't have got to meet had I not been in the wrestling business. And Walter Payton... Everything you've ever heard about him is 100% true. What a gentleman, what a nice guy. I mean, a reason I got that picture is he asked me if it would be okay if he could take a picture with me.
Really?
And that's what I said to him. I said, really? You're Walter Payton. I go, only if I can have one with you. And he said, of course, he said yes. And that's how I got the picture.
Now, was that SummerSlam that opened up the United Center in Chicago?
Yes, it was the first event
ever
in the United Center in Chicago, and it was SummerSlam, yep.
Yeah, that was really cool. He was the manager of, I believe, Razor Ramon that night against Diesel with Shawn Michaels. But it's a nice picture to see online. I just don't think it belonged in the obituary section for Matt Bourne. But
thank God I'm still alive.
You know what's funny? Right across the way, when we used to have a different setup here in this studio, we actually had Matt with us at one point. He had some very interesting stories, very interesting guy. I don't know if you ever came across him.
I knew Matt.
Oh, did you? You know him?
I knew
Okay.
him.
Did you ever think that you'd reincarnate maybe what he's best known for through his...
Well, you always got to, in the words of Vincent K. McMahon, you never know what's going to happen, and anything is possible in the WWF. At that time it was WWF, now it's WWE. But
I believe you started right around the Survivor, the only pay-per-view we had here in Boston at the old Boston Garden, right around
Yeah.
Survivor Series 93.
Yeah, it was a couple months before that, but yeah.
And what did you think? How was it pitched to you? You know, did you think that maybe they wanted to bring you in as yourself, a brand new character, something different, or did you know all along that they were going to test you out to become Doink?
Well, I got a phone call from Vince, and he asked me to come up to the office. He wanted to talk to me. So I did, and he pitched the idea of me taking over as the Doink, portraying the Doink character, that they were going to part ways with Matt Bourne. And I said, well, if your decision is made, then I have to make one. So I said, well, let's see what happens. I never did this before. You know, I was in the business. I knew how to.
Right.
I knew how to wrestle, and you know, I made trips to Japan and Germany, and I was doing it, but I never tried this out. You know, and then I went and had a dark match, and Vince handed me, you know, contract and plane tickets, and
Oh, wow. So they were pretty happy with it then.
I guess so, because he hired me.
Did you ever think that you'd become a clown when you decided to enter into the world of professional wrestling?
No.
And you were around for, you were tenured by the time Doink came your way, am I correct?
Oh, yeah, I was probably in the business 12,
That long?
13 years
Yeah?
maybe. Yeah.
And what was it about pro wrestling the first time a young version of you, or maybe even an older version of you, came across it on TV or in a live arena, and the bug kind of hit you? What was it?
Well, like so many of other guys that, you know, that got into business, I used to watch it when I was a kid. And, you know, times were different back then. There was no pay-per-view. There was no cable TV. So the only time you would get to see the stars from other areas of the country was when they would come into the New York market, which went from Maine to Washington and out to Ohio.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then you had to read the magazines, you know, to see what guys were doing. And I really liked it, and I always liked it. And I said, you know, maybe one day I'll give it a try. And I was working in a club, working at the door in security, and I met some of the guys, and they said, well, come down and work out. And, you know, I went down and worked out. I wrestled in high school and stuff. And from there, I started driving a ring truck, putting a ring together, you know.
And who was that for?
Johnny Rods.
Oh, okay.
Alpha and Sika.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, I had more matches in Alpha's backyard in Connecticut than I think I did anywhere else.
You did a lot of training with Alpha.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Any memorable stories about WWE Hall of Famer Alpha? One of the heads of the in Hawaii family that has gone on to have such a great legacy in the industry.
Without a doubt. I mean, back then, you know, it was his son, Sam, you know, Samu, and the Tonga Kid. And the rest of them weren't even doing nothing yet.
Oh, really?
You know, there was no Yokozuna yet. There was no Roman Reigns. There was no Rock. There was none of that stuff going on. It was just, you know, and then, of course, Junior, you know, Rikishi came along, and Roman Reigns and The Rock and so forth, you know, and the history's pretty much there. I mean, you know, Yoko passed away, but, you know, I knew him from when he was 14 years old.
Oh, that young? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was considerably young when he passed.
Yeah, I don't even know if he was 30.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the day. It was October 2002. I think it may have been Rikishi's only pay-per-view match as a heel in the company. And the day after, they did the big tribute to Yoko on Raw, which I thought was kind of ironic, maybe, or spooky, maybe in other ways.
No, those Polynesian guys were great.
Yeah, yeah.
I got along with every one of them. I never had a bad word with none of them. You know, not that you want to. I mean,
no.
I mean, you know, it's a lot of people you could start a fight with. I wouldn't recommend that.
So you must have loved walking into WWF at that point, where Alpha was managing Junior and Samu, and Yoko was around. Yeah, yeah.
It was like old home week. You know, it was like we were in the backyard again.
Now, you never had a chance to be a villainous Doink. Do you think you would have enjoyed that? Or do you think you had more fun playing it up for laughs?
Well, I always try to make the best out of everything, you know what I mean? But I think I would have had a real hoot being a bad guy. I think I would have liked it.
I think Matt did a tremendous
He
job
did.
as a
No,
villain.
he did a great
Yeah.
job. He did a
Great job.
You know, all I had to do was run with the football that he pitched me. You know,
Did
we,
you
were, we were running an option, and he was the quarterback.
Yeah.
He pitched me the ball, and I just went down the sideline.
Did you ever bump into him after you took over?
I never bumped into him. We talked on the phone.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him on the phone a few times.
And he could be kind of erratic, as I learned over the years. Was he all right about it?
He was all right. Me and him personally never had a problem.
Oh, good.
I got along with the guy. Mm-hmm. He got along. I think he got along with me. So it never was never bad heat with me and him.
And it's still such a beloved character from now. My gosh, almost you're talking 29 years ago in December. It'll have debuted at the TV taping.
Almost
So
30 years old.
Still action figures. There's still video games. There's still T-shirts.
Well, it's always nice to be remembered. You know, I mean,
as long as you get the royalty check, right?
Well, that don't happen. Oh, got to go talk to that guy in Connecticut.
Oh,
about
all
that.
right. Well, I didn't know about that. My gosh. Well, that's too bad. But I guess it's easy when you could. I guess that you saw Doink the Clown on pay-per-view as recently as, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was horrendous. Last year during quarantine times, when they did the pay-per-view out of Titan Towers itself, they had someone pop up from behind the chair dressed as Doink, and the wig was.
I didn't see it, so I really can't comment.
You
on
didn't.
it.
You didn't miss anything.
Oh boy,
you didn't miss anything. I'll put it to you like that. But you still stay busy. I mean, your face was very popular at the. I'm not sure what Hall of Fame exactly it was called in Amsterdam, New York. But were you pretty involved with them?
Yeah, I went to every one of them except one.
Did you?
Yep.
So
I thought they were doing a really good job. When they had it going up there in New York State, and Tony Villano and the guys that started that whole thing, it was really, really done good. And the boys loved it, and I did too. I mean, I missed one of them in 11 years.
And there's a new version of a Hall of Fame coming to that area. Am I correct?
Yes.
It's not through Tony Villano, though, is it?
No, he helps the people. He gives them some of the things of what he did to make it work, and he tries to steer them. Just when they have a problem, they call him up and they ask him, and because he did it once,
Right.
Yeah, the one that's there now is going to be the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and it seems like they're getting off the ground. They got a really nice place to display in the Knickerbocker Arena.
Really?
I don't know what the name of it is now. But
in Albany,
yeah,
they're in there.
The
Wow,
River Rats
that's really
play there. The
impressive.
hockey team plays there and stuff. They got a storefront in it, right in there.
Wow!
And it's, I think it's going to be something. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be.
Have
really
they
good.
had a induction, reunion, however you want to classify it as of yet?
They had one in August this year.
Mm-hmm. And did you go?
I couldn't go.
Oh, you
no,
couldn't go. Okay.
I had a wedding and stuff.
Oh. Well, you know what? Everybody that lost out on those weddings is trying to get rebooked, so
That's
to speak.
the problem, and I keep going to them every couple of weeks.
Oh, you must be going broke. No clowning around, right?
No clowning around.
All right, wrestling fans, right now we're going to take a brief timeout. We'll be back with Doink the Clown as we continue the Paul Bear Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. Stand by for some great information on a great cause. Wrestling fans, get ready for the 2021 Paul Bear Holiday Headlock Cyber Toy Drive. If you couldn't be with the superstars at our 20th anniversary event, have no fear. We're putting together a winner-take-all mega jackpot for one lucky fan that we will be drawing live on our Christmas special Sunday night, December the 19th, with John Cena Sr. For as little as a $5 raffle ticket, win thousands of dollars worth of prizes in our annual efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's home this Christmas. For raffle tickets and complete information, head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue. each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
It hits different live with WWE Super Show. Don't miss an epic main event.
Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, King Woods, The New Day, Roman Reigns, and the Usos in a six-man tag team match.
Will the new arrivals on the Blue Brand disrupt the dominance of the Bloodline? It's WWE Super Show in Boston, Sunday, January 9th. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages on sale now.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insider's in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Inside. It's Dan Marty, and I'm not clowning around when I say I have Doink with us. Much more light atmosphere compared to the time that John Cena Sr. and I sat over on the opposite side of the studio with Matt Bourne, who was the original Doink. But I have to ask you, any memories of the man himself, the man we're paying homage to with the drive every year, the one and only Paul Bearer, the man behind the urn?
Bill Moody.
Bill Moody.
One of the nicest guys I ever met in the business. And first or second day in the company, we had to do a double shot, which means you work twice. And we had to fly up to Providence, Rhode Island, on a little propeller airplane.
Oh, geez.
Get in a car, go to the Civic Center, wrestle, come back, get on the propeller plane, and go back to New Jersey for the Brendan Byrne Arena at night.
Wow.
Now, it was my second day in the company, and I was like, my head was just spinning around on his shoulders. I didn't know what to do. And Bill Moody came over and said, and he had that southern drawl, and
I know it very well, Ray.
I miss it. I really miss that.
Me too.
And he said, hey, I got a car, me and Mark, meaning the Undertaker, because we have a car. You could just jump in with us for this time until you get acclimated. I said, well, geez, that's pretty nice. I don't even know this guy. He's offering me a ride and this and that. So we get in it's a Lincoln Mark 7, 6, whatever it was. And I'm in the back seat. Paul's in the front, Taker's driving. And a George Jones song comes on the radio.
Oh, loved him.
So the song comes on the radio, and I start singing it under my breath, real low. And Moody hit the seat, and he looked over at Mark. He goes, you see, Mark, I told you this Yankee boy's going to be all right. He loves George Jones. And then he took out his book, and he showed me all the pictures of George Jones that he had signed, and I knew he was a big George Jones fan.
He carried it with him on the road?
Oh, he had it with him. He had pictures of his beautiful wife.
Oh, yeah. I know. That I can imagine, but I couldn't imagine carrying around pictures
he had
of
a little
George Jones.
loose leaf book in his grip,
Yeah, he had that nice Halliburton that he always carried. I don't know if he had the Halliburton back then, but yeah. Oh, I never knew that he had a little.
And he was such a good guy. I mean, he was funny to be around. That's one guy I really, really miss.
like I said, to just miss him every day. He passed just a couple of days before a live event we're going to have at the same venue tonight, and his services were held on the day of the event. It was terrible. It took me several years just to be able to be in the vicinity to go and visit, his resting spot in Mobile, Alabama. That's not exactly
around the
easy
corner.
to get to. Yeah,
From
a lot
Boston,
of the times.
no.
Yeah, we went down to for one of those.
Gulf Coast reunions?
No, it was part of WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans, WrestleCon. And then I said, you know what? When am I going to be any closer? So the day after.
From New Orleans to Mobile?
From New Orleans, yeah. Which wasn't
that's not
exactly
that close.
Well, I know, and I learned it that day. But I mean, again, when was I going to be any closer than that? So we drove out, and then we drove into the cemetery, and I had no idea, not a clue where it was. So we had to find someone that worked there, and they got on their walkie-talkie, and they found someone that apparently, I don't know if they have maps or whatever it may be, to try and direct people, but they directed us, and it was just so nice to be able to see it in person, because it took me 4 years, I think. No, 5 years. That was 2018, yeah. So I was glad that I made it at least once. Hopefully I'll get to get down there again someday. And maybe if my friend Sue gets on the horn with the powers that be, and they bring me back again and say, you know what, house show in Mobile, perfect place for me to stop and say hello again. But I keep in touch with him spiritually, I guess is the best way to put it, as he was a religious guy.
And he was a nice man.
He had his moments when he could be a little moody. He could live up to that name. You can get him on the right day.
Percy Pringle.
The right ribs. He's
oh, yeah.
He was good at giving them, but sometimes if you gave him one the wrong way, he could be a little fiery, but that was just him. But it's just, I think it's so nice that we, I think you heard us when I was talking to Bushwhacker Luke, we've lost so many of the guys, the friends, the brotherhood, and I even consider the ladies that we've lost, if they were tenured veterans, not what they have now, to be one of the boys is a compliment, not an insult.
Oh no.
When they go, it's like who's next on the cattle line, you know what I mean? And I think there's a better way than that, and at least with Paul Bearer, that's what we like to do every Christmas time. We started the drive when he was still with us, and John Cena Sr., I should say, and I, and the various legends we have every year, keep it going. We like to say, we try to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house, because you never know who's watching, right?
That's what Christmas is all about,
Yep.
And
we've had so many new faces and friends this year join us. This event, you probably wouldn't know, was originally going to be a back to the 80s event. And then, my gosh, we lost Paul Orndorff, we lost Road Warrior Animal, Jake the Snake Roberts, who works with AEW, they moved their pay-per-view date. Lanny Poffo moved to Ecuador, I guess.
He's living in South America.
Yeah. I guess looking for a little privacy for his special skill. Anything that could have gone wrong, went wrong. And then even when we decided to say, well, you know what? The 80s, there was so much interest in that. We were going to do the 90s in April. We'll flip-flop it. We'll do a 90s version first. And then we're going backwards, but we're still giving fans both.
Yeah.
And then Berzerker's dad died. Jim Duggan, I don't know if you heard about him. He had the prostate cancer. They have that removed. Dr. Style Slick, he ran into a situation with some unsavory people. It had nothing to do with him. Duke the Dumpster Drosy wound up in the hospital last night. So it has been...
Michael all right?
It's not great, but it's not horrible, I guess is the best way to put it. So he's still hoping he'll be with us in the near future. And I don't know if I've ever even met him in person, but really enjoyed the interactions and trying to set things up with him. He seems like really nice guy, really upfront guy. The stories about his substance abuse problems and the things he did to go on to try to help other people with it, which I think is a really nice thing, to try and turn a negative into a positive. But this weekend, it's taken years off my life, I think. It's our 20th anniversary. It's our Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. We've got NBC kind enough in the Boston market to come out and try and do a couple of pieces on the event. And it has just been a complete and utter nightmare at every turn. Every time you think you have everything set, another piece of the jigsaw puzzle would turn. Then you think you had everything set with the quote-unquote superstars that are known from WWE, and then issues start popping up with some of the the regional independent talent, and it's like, I haven't had a good night's sleep in a couple of months. I was here 16 hours yesterday. I got about 3 hours sleep, and then I was fresh back. And people are like, well, why didn't you respond to my text? And it's like, well,
maybe I was busy.
When I went to get my hair cut, I don't know how long I was in there. I had 33 texts. And it's like, there's only so much time in the day.
Correct. I know.
I mean, I know you were a busy guy outside of the world of professional wrestling. Didn't you operate your own construction business from what I read at one point? I don't want to give away too much behind the makeup.
No, I did. Yeah.
Are you still involved with that now?
No.
No. You're just enjoying the golden years with a little green hair. That's all.
It. That's it. A little face paint, a little dab will do you, you know?
And the best part is, you know what? It must be so easy for you to, when you go out for live appearances and live events, to kind of navigate around, you know, with that green hair. I can't imagine, you know, you wear that if you go into Whole Foods.
No, it does raise a few eyebrows when I walk around like this. You should have seen it when I drove the motorcycle like this.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Really?
Yeah, we did a charity event, and I rode the motorcycle with the suit on.
I remember we went into a 99 restaurant with Matt Bourne, and he kept it on once. I thought that was kind of funny,
you pull up to the toll booth, and, you know, when before you had Easy Pass, and we used to get a lot of different looks from the toll takers.
On the, a double shot type day?
Yeah. It was funny.
I bet they got it for them to break up their day a little bit. They probably thought it was great.
I mean, sometimes you didn't have time to take your stuff off, put your stuff on. You'd drive with your boots and your tights and everything, just go to the next town.
If it was too far, yeah, right.
Well, yeah,
right.
You know, you got to make it, and, you know.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No, there's no excuses.
I wish more people had that philosophy.
Remember if you ever watched Timmy White, I love Timmy White, who was a great referee. He says in the interview when they're asking him about Andre the Giant, he goes, there's no excuses and there's no crying in professional wrestling. So be there or not be there.
I just don't know where the disconnect came from the current generation of quote-unquote indie guys in many cases to what you had back then, when there was just such great passion. Like you said, you'd rather cut off a limb than be late or miss a show.
Yeah.
Never mind the fine, but you know, you took pride in what you did in your craft. You know what I mean? Some people look at it as such a, I don't think they have the dedication that a generation of yesteryear had. One man's opinion.
Well, you know, it's actually a lot like our society. You know, 30 years ago, you had a lot more respect. People were nicer to each other. They respected the elderly. You know, it was a different society that we live in. And that transpires into that too.
It's a very good point. That's a very good point. Well, folks, that gives you something to think about. We just got a cue from the back. Right now, we're going to take a brief time out to look more into the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive 2021. Then we'll be back to wrap up the show. Stand by.
Wrestling fans, get ready for the 2021 Paul Bearer Holiday Headlock Cyber Toy Drive. If you couldn't be with the superstars at our 20th anniversary event, have no fear. We're putting together a winner-take-all mega jackpot for one lucky fan that we will be drawing live on our Christmas special Sunday night, December the 19th, with John Cena Sr. For as little as a $5 raffle ticket, win thousands of dollars worth of prizes in our annual efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's home this Christmas. For raffle tickets and complete information, head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho. Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
Is all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now, available on eBay.
Here's your chance to own a piece of history from the 2020 WWE Draft. On the second night, October the 12th, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Alexa Bliss unleashed hell on Andrade and Zelina Vega. This limited edition 11x14 collector's poster is number 26 of only 50 made, personally signed by both The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, direct from friends at WWE. Comes with certificate of authenticity hologram on the poster itself, suitable for framing. You'll also receive a bonus autographed mystery photo and an on-air shout-out as our thanks to you. Get this ultra-rare autographed Fiend and Alexa Bliss poster now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889.
All right, wrestling fans, would love your input on what you think about having Doink with us. He's not too far away. We could probably get him up from time to time to tell some old road stories, some historical episodes, the fun that we have here on Wrestling Insiders, even though right now we kind of got that Christmas feel, that Christmas vibe, as we're trying to help out St. Nick. He's been about as busy as I am, especially with the next couple of weeks coming up. He's got to get every kid's list ready. That's quite an undertaking. We're only worried about a few hundred people at Memorial Hall, so that's a really busy schedule. But in the premiere chat to my right on the screen, let us know your thoughts, or if you're not watching during the premiere, in the comment section below. Love your input on things. We are headed back to sunny Tampa, Florida in a couple of weeks to tape with many wrestling legends and superstars, as well as we really want to try and make up for last year's toy drive, which was a complete and utter disaster due to the times we were living in due to coronavirus. How did Doink the Clown survive the virus times?
Well, it was interesting. You know, it's funny. The winter of 20, when it first became known of what it was and everything, around March, when the country started shutting down, I was in Florida.
Really?
And I called home, and my kids told me, don't even bother coming back. It's worse up here than it is down there. And I said, okay. So I stayed in Florida till like May, and then it started to get really bad down there.
Yeah.
And I came back up north, and it was starting to get better up here. And then, you know, before it all started, people weren't looking for coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? I think I had it.
Really?
You know, because I went to the doctors, and he gave me a bunch of stuff for colds, and wasn't touching it. And I was having trouble breathing, and you know, gave me some more medicine, and I must have went to the doctor 3 times in a week. Wound up with a chest X-ray, and they said I had fluid in my lungs, and that if it didn't dissipate, they were going to have to admit me to the hospital. Luckily, the fluid did dissipate, and I didn't get pneumonia or whatever they thought I was going to have. But I'm quite sure, you know, and in his defense, the doctor was never looking for it, because
they didn't know what it is.
There was no such thing as coronavirus. But I think I had it 3 or 4 months before anybody knew that it existed. And like I said, I can't fault the doctor. Nobody knew what it was, right? It was just a bad cold, like pneumonia. And that's what he thought I had. We'll never really know 100%, right. But I think that's what it was.
How long were you out of commission for?
Oh, I was dragging maybe 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was, you know, going to the doctor, coming home, going and sleeping a lot, and I wasn't feeling right. And I was having trouble breathing.
Wow.
I couldn't take a deep breath. If I went to take a deep breath of air, I'd cough. So
Jeez, that's awful.
He started thinking it was like pneumonia,
Yeah.
you know? And he started treating it that way. And like I said, 3 times in a week, I kept going back to the guy, and he's giving me more pills and more whatever. And finally, I just kind of got better. Luckily, you know.
Luckily, yeah.
But
Thank God.
You know, I don't know. I don't know if it was or it was pneumonia and just a bad cold. I don't know.
Do you remember what month?
It started in December.
Oh, okay. Up here, we had that giant outbreak. There was, gosh, I don't. It was some kind of a convention of I think, medical people, and a lot of people came over from China, and that's when it started to spread like wildfire through Massachusetts. It was really bad up here early on. Before I think we were one of the. I think early on we kind of started the quarantine. I think it was I went to the movies the day before it closed, and I think it was March 16th, and we beat a few people to the punch. But then it just, you know, I remember my ex's little one that we made the video for saying, oh, you know, they're going to be closing schools. And I said, let me tell you something, buddy. If you think they're going to be closing schools down, it's going to get really bad. And who looked like the idiot in that conversation?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He knew better than me, whether it was just wishful thinking on his behalf or some kind of wisdom that sometimes kids, you know, they pick up on their own sometimes,
Sure
the way
do.
their brains work, different than adults do, yeah. So I'll never forget that he kind of was a little Nostradamus sitting in the back seat of the car one day when we were...
So that's how I got through the COVID stuff.
It was just COVID. You survived COVID, that's how you got through it.
I
now,
guess.
did you have a place down in Florida, or were you on vacation?
Well,
or?
no, I go down to a friend of mine's son. He's in the minor leagues for the Phillies.
Oh, really?
So I go and watch him play baseball.
Oh, wow.
And then my one nephew got married. He lives down there. So, you know, I have family and friends and, you know, all kinds of people down there. So,
Well, I bet you didn't miss the weather.
No. The clown likes it around 70, 75.
Yeah, the 70 is about perfect for me.
That's me. That's what I like.
With the girth I have around the midsection, even that's sometimes a little too much, depending upon the humidity. But no, at least it was better than a cold, snowy northeast for you to have to deal with. Yeah. Well, and I mean, even on the road, think about trying to navigate some of those. You talk about you have to be at the show, you can't be late, can't miss the shot. I'm sure you endured some brutal winter weathers during your 3 years in WWF at the time.
Oh, we drove to we were like the mailman. We drove to rain, sleet, snow, tornadoes, mudslides, whatever you got. I mean, yeah.
Was Dink a good navigator?
No, not a good navigator.
You did the driving?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
And we didn't have GPS then.
So he had the little road map.
Well, yeah, but I used to take out the road atlas and make a little, I always call it a cheat sheet. And so I didn't have to try to read the big map while I was driving. I could just read, 90 to 95 to 91 to this one to that one, and
Oh, so you just had a sheet of paper that instead of folding out some big map while you were trying to drive.
I used to do that. And then, after you go to these buildings around the country once or twice, you get to know them.
Yeah.
You get a little hip on how to get around.
Makes it a little easier, yeah. At least you become familiar with your surroundings. But I asked you, I heard you were talking to Luke earlier, and you said Dink had an extreme fear of dogs.
Oh, petrified.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, was it because of his size, or do you think it was...
I think size, emotionally, everything. Yeah, he's petrified of dogs.
Really?
So,
you had some fun ribs.
So the boys used to, we never would play a rib on anybody, right? Oh.
I was howling at a couple of the ones you were reminding Luke about from over the years. That poor little fella. Getting stuck in bathrooms with dogs and Bam Bam's Doberman Pinscher, you said.
That was a Great Dane.
Oh, Great Dane, I'm sorry.
Bob Miller, Butch's dog, was a Rottweiler. Luke's partner.
Butch, yep.
Yeah. He had a big Roddy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I used to torture Tiger Jackson, Dink with it.
Where is he nowadays?
Who?
Dink.
Where he always is, outside of Montreal.
Is that where he still lives?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How's he been doing?
Last time I spoke to him, he seemed fine, I mean, he couldn't, because Canada had the real tight restrictions, So he could come to America,
Just couldn't get back.
but he can't go home.
Yeah.
So it's a one-way trip, you know what I mean?
It's almost like what we were talking about with Luke, how it is down in New Zealand. I think he said they've had 8 deaths. I have a good friend that lives down there that's been inviting me to see it forever. But I mean, you know,
probably can't get in.
There's quite a fee to pay to get in. You have to pay to stay in I guess they have a certain thousands of hotels that you have to live in for 2 weeks. I mean, if you even, I don't know if you heard how much you heard of it, but Luke said, even if you have lived there and you're a citizen and you have a home, you still have to stay in that hotel for X amount of time before you can even leave and go to your own house. So, you know, I can imagine that's very frustrating for those that live there. But when you compare 8 deaths to how many we've had,
to 250,000.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Oh yeah,
you know, yeah. Not to try and hop into that segment too far, with Christmas right around the corner.
But that's why I haven't seen Claude in a couple years, and you know, I don't know when he's going to be able to travel freely again.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully, knock on wood again.
So we have to see.
As we are approaching the big day on December the 25th, how does a clown like to celebrate the holidays?
Well, you remember one year Santa gave me Dink for Christmas. Do you remember that?
That's right. He was a present.
He was actually a Christmas present to me for Christmas, you know.
Did you want to return it to the store the next day?
I tried, but they said no.
No.
This is
no receipt.
This is a blue light special. You know, cash and carry, buddy. So, but we had a good time. We had a lot of fun. Me, I love Christmas because I like seeing all the families get together. I like everybody eating and drinking and laughing, and then the best part is to see the excitement in all the kids' faces, you know, because that, to me, you can't buy that. That's priceless.
No,
you see those kids get excited like that. That's great.
And that's why the toy drive has so much meaning to me. The year I was in the accident with Shiki Baby, when I wound up in the condition I'm in now, that was a tough year to try and do much of anything, never mind try and put together a high-quality Christmas for the little ones. And so to be able to do what we do and create smiles, you know, I think that's a really awesome thing. That's why we implore you guys to get involved. If you are unable to join us at Memorial Hall in Melrose back on November the 13th for the big live event, all of the superstars there, they were helping with all the great items that WWE sent in, some of the toy drive posters, if there were any photos left over, some nice books that have been all over this studio. The studio has loved how I've kind of turned it into a wrestling flea market the past few weeks. But, you know, it takes a lot of prep work to get all this stuff ready. You know what I mean?
It just doesn't happen.
I don't make them smile like you, though, when they see this kisser walk in the door. But that's a different story for a different time. Hopefully more families can enjoy the holiday. I know last year our normal traditions were kind of ruined by what was going on in the world. And, you know, hopefully it's going to be bigger, better, brighter things. As Howard knocks us, gee, Howard's he was the stunt double for Howard Stern in Private Parts.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the stunt double. But anyway, we thank our great help in the studio as always, Jackie the Joke Man, Howard Miller, Charlie Wilson's running around somewhere. Without the great help, we could never make these shows happen. I just sit here and yap and try and be slightly humorous and try and relive some great wrestling history for you folks out there that don't enjoy the sports entertainment of today and like to remember the good old days, so to speak. And we have a lot of fun doing it. I thought this interview was great, some great chemistry, and my gosh, if we really sat down at some point and tried to pick apart your career from point A to point Z, we could probably go on for weeks and weeks and months like we do with Marty Jannetty every Thursday night at 10, which is an adventure in and of itself, believe me.
Martin's entertaining.
Believe me. And more than that, but we won't go there. So for my new friend, Doink the Clown, I'm Dan Marati. Don't forget, between now and Sunday night, December the 19th, the Paul Bear Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive goes cyber. Get your mind out of the gutter. It goes cyber, where fans, whether you're in Boston, whether you're in New Zealand out with Bushwhacker Butch, anyone can help a great cause and get some great wrestling memorabilia for your own collection. So until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well, stay healthy, get part of the Paul Bearer Toy Drive. Good night from Boston.
Happy holidays!
Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.